Hello everyone, good morning. So today we are going to have the Hindu newspaper analysis dated 9th of March 2022. So let us quickly look into the topics that we are going to discuss for the day. So we will look into these topics one by one. These are one of the important topics for the day. So we are going to understand one topic that says clear signals. So this topic is with reference to the ongoing tussle that is happening between Russia and Ukraine. Okay, so Russia's war on Ukraine. So we are going to discuss some of the important aspects related to that in this particular article. Then in the next article we are going to talk about global stagflation risk. Okay, so we will understand what do we mean by stagflation, and we will understand like why the globe or the world is facing stagflation risk. Okay, and the next topic is related to social revolution takes time. Okay, recently Supreme Court has given a judgment, or like it has observed that social revolution takes time. So it is in context of the demand by some stakeholders related to, including the caste based reservation in the National Defence Services, okay, National Defence Academy admissions. So we will understand about this topic. The next topic is related to Bangladesh, India and Nepal to move ahead of MVA Pact. MVA means Motor Vehicle Act. Okay, so like it is a kind of pact, agreement between four countries, but one of the country, okay, which is Bhutan. So Bhutan is not in favor of implementing this particular BBIN. This is known as Bangladesh, Bhutan, India and Nepal agreement. So like this particular agreement will lead to greater cooperation in road transport in these countries. Okay, so Bhutan is not favor in implementing this particular thing at this stage. So what has happened, Bangladesh, India and Nepal has together decided that they are going to amend that particular BBIN pact, and they are going to go ahead to implement this particular pact even without the absence of Bhutan. So we will discuss about that thing. And the next topic is related to the office of the governor. Okay, so this topic was there in the Hindu newspaper in the text and context section. So this particular article talks about multiple issues related to the office of the governor. It talks about reports of multiple commissions, like what the administrative reforms commissions say about it, what is the take of the Supreme Court in the SR Bommai case, and the judgments or like reports of the Sarkaria Commission and Punchi Commission. So all these things are discussed in this particular article. So we are going to learn a lot related to mains exam through this particular article. Okay, so with this, now let us talk about the first thing. So we are going to understand about clear signals. Okay, India and China must take on board global currents that could reshape ties. So recently what has happened, Russia has waged war against Ukraine, and this has led to widespread notion in different countries like to which side a particular country is going to stand. Okay, India till now has maintained a position of neutrality, means like it has not taken the side of Russia and it has not taken the side of USA or Ukraine. So it has maintained neutrality, and it has initiated a process to bring back its citizens from Ukraine, from the war torn region. Okay, so that like our citizens are not affected. Okay, so I think this is a pragmatic approach, this is a practical approach by government of India at this point of time. But like it also has given some notion to China, and China although has maintained some form of neutrality, but like slowly and gradually it has hinted towards that like it is siding with Russia in this particular thing. So like China has criticized India's stand in this particular thing. So like India has not taken any stand like to which side it lies, and at the same time China has criticized some of the agreements that India has come into in the recent past, with the United States of America, Australia and Japan in some of the groupings, like we have the Five Eyes, we have the Quad grouping, we have AUKUS, and we have bilateral ties also, and China has named these moves are 5-4-3-2, okay, strategy. So we will discuss about this particular thing. So China has claimed that United States of India is trying to create Asia, Asia and NATO by coming into alliance with some of the countries here. So China has claimed that USA is posing towards Indo-Pacific strategy, and USA has a vision to create an Indo-Pacific version of NATO, okay, and this is what China is more cautious about. And at this point of time, China has also pointed towards some of the groupings like this particular grouping, which is that includes India, Australia, Japan and United States. The name of the grouping is Quadrilateral Security Dialogue, okay, it is in short known as Quad. So China is China is concerned about this particular grouping, and at the same time China is telling that US is trying to create an Asian NATO, okay, Asian NATO. NATO stands for North Atlantic Treaty Organization, okay. So China is pointing towards that US is trying to create a Asian NATO, and this point of time, so this statement by China actually assumes significance at this stage, because the situation now has tilted. I mean, here what has happened, Russia has waged a war against Ukraine, but Ukraine was trying to get the membership of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, but NATO has not responded to it yet. And Ukraine has applied for the membership recently, but it has not been accepted by NATO. So recently, the president of Ukraine, Mr. Zelensky, has said it is not going to move forward with the application that it has sought, and it has also signaled that Ukraine is willing to compromise on the conflicted regions between Russia and Ukraine. So there are some regions which is also known as Donbas region. So this region has some kind of conflict, okay. Russia has waged a war by citing that this particular region is independent, but that was not recognized by Ukraine at that point of time. But recently Ukrainian president has given this signal that he is willing to compromise with Russia on this front. And apart from this, after he said this particular thing, it has given a positive signal globally, and the stock markets around the world has started regaining regaining its shape, means they have the value of the prices of stocks has started going up, right? So now here why China has said this, because China says that National People's Congress accused the United States of stoking geopolitical rivalry by forming exclusive clubs, and China says India is becoming a part of exclusive club which is being led by the United States of America, that is excluding China. I mean excluding China, many different clubs are made, for example the Quad grouping, okay, and AUKUS, okay, and strengthening the 5 Eyes. So China has named it as 5-4-3-2 strategy, okay, 5-4-3-2 formation, because the 5 Eyes have 5 members, the Quad has 4 members, AUKUS has Australia, Australia, UK and Australia, UK and US, okay. So AUKUS 5-4-3 and 2 formation. So it is leading to establishment of a Asiatic NATO or Asian NATO. So it is Indo-Pacific version of NATO. So this is what China is making the assumption about. So this is the thing here, India has not responded to this particular thing in a strong signal, but so it actually shows the deep political and economic linkages. I mean China already has deep political and economic linkages with Russia, and now China is asserting that the move taken by Russia is good and move taken by Russia is justified, okay. So it is siding with Russia in this particular thing, but here we need to understand that recently what has happened, New Delhi means like the government of India has rejected this particular notion. And only last month, the External Affairs Minister of India, which is, Mr. S. Jaishankar, he said that interested parties were making a lazy analogy of the Asian NATO. Okay, so this is the thing. And at this point of time, like India is not trying to sensitize the issue, it is trying to, be neutral so that the issue can stabilize in the recent future. Okay, so this is the thing. With this, this is an ongoing issue, and this issue may take any shape in the recent future. It depends how other countries are responding to this particular situation between Russia and Ukraine. But if more countries are aggressively taking certain stand, it may lead to third world war also. If other countries are remaining neutral, then slowly and gradually this particular issue will be resolved bilaterally between Russia and Ukraine, and they are going to bring some kind of peace in the recent future. But we cannot deny the humanitarian issues that is going on in Ukraine. And recently what has happened, the Ukrainian government has launched a website, and in that website it has asked that any person from any country, if they want to join the Ukrainian force, if they want to take side of Ukraine and if they want to help Ukraine, they can sign up in that particular website and they can be a member of the squad that is fighting the Russian forces. And recently it was also reported that around 500 Indian citizens have also participated in that. So it is a point of concern related to that. Okay, so we need to address that particular challenge in recent future. Okay, so with this we will move to the next topic. Okay, so let us look into the second topic. Here we are going to discuss about the global stagflation risk. Okay, means like global, the world is facing the risk of stagflation. So we need to understand what do we mean by stagflation, and then we will understand the situation that is leading to the crisis of moving towards stagflation issue. So stagflation means increasing the inflation but stagnant growth, means like inflation is increasing but like economies are not growing. Okay, inflation is increasing means the prices of goods and services are increasing. So if the prices of goods and services increase, what will happen, like different countries or like people will not be able to purchase the goods at a price that they used to purchase. But at the same time, if the growth is not happening, so it is going to lead the world to a greater economic crisis situation. So this is the thing. So global stagflation risk. So we are going to discuss about global stagflation risk. So India will have to cut fuel taxes and risk both faster inflation and slower growth. Okay, so what has happened in this article, they have discussed about the issues that are going on with reference to Russia and Ukraine, and how it has led to a widespread global economic crisis like situation. Because like Russia is one of the biggest country in Asia as well as in Europe. It is the biggest country in the world. But the thing is, like Russia supplies more than 60% of the oil and natural gas requirement of the European Union. Means like Russia used to supply around 60% of the natural gas, okay, oil and natural gas things, and at the same time this supplies almost half of the coal requirement of the European Union. Okay, so it was a biggest supplier of many important raw materials for the European Union and for USA. Okay, but recently like various countries including the European Union and USA, they have cut Russia from the international banking channel by blocking the SWIFT network. So SWIFT network we discussed in detail in our previous lecture, where we discussed like what is the role of SWIFT. I mean like SWIFT actually plays the role of interbank banking communication or messaging network. Okay, so by blocking this thing, it has done, it has actually blocked Russia from international banking channels, and that has led to plunging down, means like decreasing the value of Russian ruble as compared to the US dollar. Okay, so like Russian ruble has reduced, its price has reduced by more than 60%. Okay, it has reduced by more than 60% since the starting of the war. Okay, so Russia is facing huge financial difficulty because of this particular thing, and at the same time it has also given signals to other countries as well, because the energy demand of European Union is not being met. USA is facing problem. India as a country is also facing problem, because like it is not able to import some of the raw materials that it used to import from Russia and other countries, and global price of oil and natural gas has increased. Okay, so different economies are facing the problem of inflation, and at the same time like reduced growth. So this will lead to stagflation related situation. Okay, it is known as inflation and slower growth, it is known as stagflation. Okay, so inflation means the gradual rise in the prices of goods and services. I mean like price is increasing, but the purchasing power of people are not increasing. Simply means like today if you are purchasing something at rupees 100, after a year or after certain period you may have to pay a higher price. For example, you may have to pay 110 rupees. So that is known as inflation. Okay, so inflation on one side is creating problem, on the other side the stagnant growth or slower growth will lead to another situation, economic situation. Okay, so this is the thing. So with this we will understand that like recently the International Monetary Fund has also forecasted the global growth to be very slow. Okay, the International Monetary Fund has forecasted that the global growth in 2022 will be only 4.4%, and it has cited only the Omicron variant of COVID-19. Okay, it has cited the Omicron variant of COVID-19. But the thing is, like if we talk about the Omicron variant, so it was a threat, but now a bigger threat is because of the financial issues that the world is facing because of the war. Okay, so it may lead to even slower economic growth in the near future. So this is the thing. In 2019 a paper was released, it is known as the impact of crude price shock on India's current account deficit, inflation and fiscal deficit, and this particular paper was released by the Reserve Bank of India. Okay, so this was released by two senior Reserve Bank of India researchers, and they said that a $10 increase in the price of oil from $65 level would rise headline inflation by about 49 basis points. Means like they have cautioned through this particular paper that like if the international oil price increases by $10, then it will lead to increase in the price of oil, and it is going to rise the headline inflation. Okay, we have headline inflation, we have core inflation also. Okay, so it is going to rise the headline inflation by around 49 basis points. Okay, so this is one of the risk factor that the Indian economy is facing. So this particular situation is leading to a situation where the prices of oils globally is going to increase. Okay, and people will find it difficult to purchase oil and other things, and so that is going to bring down the economic growth, because when the prices of energy increases, then like people face it difficult to consume energy, so it is going to lead to economic difficulty as well. Right, so transport is going to face a huge crisis, and transport is considered to be the backbone of a economy. Okay, if transport is facing crisis, means other sectors of the economy will also get affected. Okay, so with this, now let us talk about another topic. It says social revolution takes time. So it was said by the Supreme Court of India recently. Okay, so court has declined to take up petition seeking caste-based reservation in National Defence Academy. Okay, so what has happened? Like you might be knowing that, like, you know, people get admission in the National Defence Academy after qualifying NDA exam after 12th standard. Okay, so after qualifying NDA exam in 12th standard, so they get into National Defence Academy and they study for certain period, I mean like for about 4 years, then they are inducted in different services as officers. Okay, so now, like, you know, in National Defence Academy, what has happened, like, you know, people have filed petition in the Supreme Court and they have asked that, like, reservation should be extended to the National Defence Academy as well. But the Supreme Court has declined this particular thing now. It said like that, like, you know, if you are looking for social revolution, it's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. Okay, social revolution means bringing changes in the armed forces structure as well. At this point of time, we do have reservation structure in other services. Civil services we have in other services, but in defense services the reservation thing is not there. But like recently, slowly and gradually, the women's are also being inducted in permanent services in armed forces as well as in air force. Okay, but the thing is, Supreme Court has declined, and at the same time Supreme Court has asked the central government, okay, Supreme Court has asked the central government to study the implication of induction and deployment of ex-National Defence Academy women cadets in the armed forces. So Supreme Court has asked the central government to study like what is going to be the impact and what like, you know, what is going to be the implication if we induct the ex-NDA women cadets into the armed forces. If we induct them, like if we, you know, have them in the armed forces, what can be its repercussions, what can be its impact. Okay, so social revolution does not come overnight, it takes time. This was the, you know, observation made by the by one of the judge, I mean a bench of justices, Sanjay Kishan Kaul and MM Sundaresh. Okay, so they are the judges of the Supreme Court of India, and they have responded this on you know, a plea that was seeking the seeking for reservation of seats for scheduled castes, scheduled tribes and other backward classes. Okay, so the government has recently responded how many seats are there through NDA 2 in 2021 and NDA 1 of 2022. NDA 2, NDA 1 means like in a year the National Defence Academy conducts exam two times. Okay, so UPSC conducts the examination 2 times for admission into National Defence Academy. So like NDA 2 and through NDA 1, like they have these many vacancies. Okay, so this was notified by this thing. So total they have 370 vacancies for the 3 services. Out of these, 208 will be commissioned in the Army, 120 in the Air Force and 42 in the Navy. Now, the next article, it says social revolution takes time. Okay, so same article. Okay, here means like the Supreme Court of India has gone into detail. So that detail is mentioned over here. So they have also mentioned about the Service Selection Board, which is scheduled to effect from March, April 2020. Means like SSB interviews or SSB process is going to happen in the March, April 2022. So this is related to, I mean like, you know, related to the plea that seeks reservation in armed forces, reservation in National Defence Academy admissions. Okay, so Supreme Court has responded, it has sought response of the central government, like what can be the pros and cons of this thing, you respond to us. Later on, like we will hear the case further and we will decide on this, right? So now let us discuss about this particular article that talks about Bangladesh, India, Nepal to move ahead with MVA Pact. MVA means Motor Vehicle Agreement. Okay, so Bangladesh, Bhutan has been, you know, out of this particular thing, out of the Motor Vehicle Agreement. Means like it has not been participating in the discussions, and so what has happened, you know, this particular grouping which is known as Bangladesh, Bhutan, India and Nepal. So this is a grouping where 4 countries had decided that we are going to form an alliance where we will allow free movement of vehicles through the roads, and we are going to build the road connectivity through our borders, and different vehicles will be able to move through it. But the thing is, like, Bhutan has been staying out of the discussions that were happening in this particular grouping. So, and Bhutan has said that we are not immediately ratifying this particular agreement. Why? Because like we want to stay carbon negative. So Bhutan has said that we want to stay carbon negative, because like motor vehicles are going to increase the pollution in our cities, in our roads. So Bhutan has said that we want to stay carbon negative, that's why we are not ratifying it. So, but however, the other three countries like India, Bangladesh and Nepal, they have decided to amend this particular agreement till Bhutan joins, and like till that time they are going to go ahead with this particular agreement. They are going to implement this particular agreement in the near future. And the Prime Minister of India is going to travel to Colombo, means like he is going to travel to Sri Lanka, and during his travel these other countries like Bangladesh, Nepal, they are also going to participate. And so the Prime Minister of India is going to attend the meeting of BIMSTEC, which is known as Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation. Okay, Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation. Okay, so recently what has happened, these three countries, means except Bhutan, the other three countries like Bangladesh, India and Nepal, they have agreed, okay, they have agreed in a meeting that they are going to bring an enabling memorandum of understanding, and this will be signed by India, Bangladesh and Nepal for implementation of the BBIN MVA. BBIN means Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Nepal Motor Vehicle Agreement. Okay, so they are going to bring this particular thing by pending ratification by Bhutan. Means like Bhutan has not yet ratified this particular agreement, but these three countries are going to sign a memorandum of understanding, and they are going to implement this particular agreement. Okay, so now here we need to understand that the response by Bhutan is not, is not as per the vision that Bhutan has had at that point of time. Okay, at that point of time Bhutan had a different vision, but now the vision of Bhutan has changed. It wants to stay carbon neutral, but we cannot deny that Bhutan may be under the influence or under the pressure of Chinese government. Means if it is under the pressure of the Chinese government, or if it is cautiously taking the stand of Chinese government, so it may not be taking the side of India or joining the other pact. Okay, but India is also willing, these other three countries are willing to give time and space to Bhutan, so that they can in future ratify this particular agreement, and they can bring into implement this particular agreement locally in their country. Okay, so this is the thing. Now with this we are going to talk about the last topic, which is the office of the governor. Okay, we know that governors in India occupy a very important and strategic position in every state. Okay, in every state there is a governor, and in union territories we have lieutenant governors. Okay, so since the inception of the constitution, or before the before the constitution came into force, right, this particular issue has been discussed, it has been deliberated upon, and that time in the draft constitution, before the constitution was implemented, that time this particular governor, the office of the governor was discussed under article 131 of the constitution. Later on, it has been implemented through some other article. We are going to discuss about that article 147, I guess. Okay, so that's the thing. So now the office of the governor means when the Constituent Assembly, when they were discussing upon it, so they have decided, they have deliberated upon that the governors can be elected. We can elect the governors through electoral process. But like that was not implemented because like they thought like their both chief ministers or governors are being elected. So what will happen, it will lead to the issue of conflict between the two. Okay, so there has to be a different process for bringing these people into office. Okay, so apart from the election, so they have also talked about nomination process. Okay, that the governors can be nominated as well, nominated by the state legislative assemblies. Like okay, so there was a case where they discussed that like the state legislative assemblies are going to nominate 4 people, and out of those 4 people, one person will be made the governor of a particular state. But that was also not implemented. Later on, we have adopted that the governors will be appointed by the central government. Okay, governors will be appointed by the central government, and they should not be from the same state where they are going to be governors. Okay, so this was also recommended by different reports of different commissions. Okay, so as of now, the convention is that like governors are not elected. They are appointed by the governor, they are not elected, they are not nominated, they are appointed by the central government. And at the same time, the convention has been maintained that the governors are independent in a sense that they do not come from the same state where they are holding the seat of governor of the state. Why? Because if he comes from the same state, then he will also have some biased opinion towards that particular state. Okay, this is the thing. Apart from this, there is another issue which is known as, governors are chancellors of universities also. Every governor is a chancellor of all the universities, that are in that particular state universities. Okay, so like it also gives an additional burden or additional work on governor, that like he has to look into the affairs of the universities as well. Okay, so we are going to discuss about them in this particular article. So the constitutional debates on the role of governor and how the position has fared in the center state relations. Okay, so we are going to we have discussed about the gist of the article. We will understand the context, we will understand politics till the Bommai verdict. Okay, so there was a case, SR Bommai case, and the Supreme Court of India has given a judgment in SR Bommai case in 1994, I guess. Then there was a Sarkaria Commission report as well. So Sarkaria Commission report has given its own opinion related to the center state relations. After then the Punchi Commission came, and it has also given certain more elaborate details about the office of the governor, and we will discuss about what is the core discontent. Okay, what is the core discontent? So where does the discontent arise from? The discontent arises from the fact that the governors are appointed by the central government, and many a times the governors become vocal in the local politics, in local state politics. So what happens? The governors keep a particular view that does not align with the view of the ruling party in the state. So what happens? The moment governor puts forward its own view, the ruling party or the candidates of the ruling party or opposition party, they also aggressively criticize the governor. Okay, so this has led to a kind of discontent in the post of the governor, and there has been situations where like governors has dissolved the state legislative assemblies. Okay, they have dissolved the state legislature, okay, without following proper procedures, and that has led to different cases being filed in the Supreme Court of India, and courts has also intervened from time to time. And so this particular issue is everlasting issue, I would say. It is lingering issue that has been happening, but still people are trying to resolve this particular issue. So we are going to discuss about this in this particular article. So we have discussed this particular article, gist of the article. So now let us discuss if we talk about the draft constitution of India, the draft Constitution of India provided for direct election or appointment of the governor under Article 131 of the draft Constitution, and later on it became Article 155 of the Constitution that was actually adopted. Okay, so now we have Article 155 that talks about the office of the governor, but in the draft Constitution it was Article 131. Okay, so Article 131 of the draft Constitution provided for an elected governor or governor appointed by the president from panel of 4 candidates elected by the Legislative Assembly. But after elaborate discussions and deliberations, the Assembly voted for nomination provision which rules out any role of the Legislative Assembly. But that time Jawaharlal Nehru also strongly supported a nominated governor, as an elected governor may lead to conflict and waste of energy and money, and also leading to certain disruptive tendencies in big context of an elective governor plus parliamentary system of democracy. Okay, if we have governors also elected, if we have chief ministers also elected, then there will be conflict of interest and they are going to come into tussle with one another from time to time. Okay, right. So when the elected governor of the United States, okay, was juxtaposed with the nominated governor in Canada and Australia, means like now we are talking about in global context. Okay, globally, like what is the role of governor, how the governors are elected. So like if we talk about United States of America, in United States of America the governors are elected, and if we talk about the Canada and Australia, okay, so like these countries demanded nomination, okay, despite suspicious this thing. Okay, so like in the Government of India Act 1935 also they have conceived the nomination system, but like after the constitution was enacted, so that time we have adopted the procedure where the governors will be appointed by the central government. Okay, it is not a nomination process and it is not a election process of the governor also. So if we talk about politics till the Bombay verdict, okay, before the Bombay verdict, before the judgment of in the case of SR Bombay, what was the scenario? Okay, before the Bombay verdict, what has happened, we are going to discuss in detail. So a classic example of Raj Bhavan. Raj Bhavan is a place where the governor resides. This is the office of the governor. Okay, this is home come office of the governor. So being embroiled into partisan politics was sketched by a series of events in Tamil Nadu. Okay, beginning from declaration of national emergency in June 25, 1975. Okay, so at that point of time, the central government was being ruled by the Congress party, or we would say this UPA government. But that time, they have imposed emergency, and that time Tamil Nadu faced this particular issue, that has led to series of events, a tussle between the state government and the governor. Okay, and this was followed by DMK regime. So they are talking about what has happened. Okay, but what has happened, before this particular judgment, Bombay verdict, president's rule was imposed in states over 100 times prior to 1994. Okay, before 1994 judgment, the president's rule was imposed over more than 100 times in different states. Okay, but later the Supreme Court has given a judgment in the SR Bombay case, and so it has declared that such rampant practices should come to an end, and it declared that the imposition of president's rule shall be confined only to the breakdown of constitutional machinery. So Supreme Court of India has given a rule that when the constitutional machinery gets broken down, only then you can implement the president's rule. Otherwise, you should not implement the president's rule. Okay, so this verdict was given by the Supreme Court of India in the SR Bombay case in 1994. But later on, the Sarkaria Commission came and it has given a different judgment. The Sarkaria Commission, it's not a judgment, they have recommended related to center-state relations. It has recommended what should be done. So SR Bombay judgment was passed by 9-judge bench of the Supreme Court, okay, and they have exclusively quoted from the Commission on Center-State Relations constituted by central government in 1983, and this particular commission that was constituted in 1983 was 3-member commission. It was headed by Justice R.S. Sarkaria, and it remains the bedrock, okay, till date it remains the bedrock of any inquiry into relations between the center and state. The commission also submitted its report in 1988. It sought to reinfuse the spirit of cooperative federalism in Indian politics, okay. So it tries to reinfuse the cooperative federalism. Cooperative federalism means we do have a federal structure, but like it should be cooperative. It should not be competitive federalism, okay. It should be cooperative, means like the center should, deliberate upon, or it should discuss with the state governments before implementing any such laws, or before bringing any changes into the center-state relation related things, okay. So this is important, but apart from this, there was a mandate also that was given by the Administrative Reforms Commissions, okay, and so Sarkaria Commission was wider, okay, it was wider as compared to the Administrative Reforms Commission's, recommendations. So this is the thing, this was ongoing. So some of the recommendations of Sarkaria Commission was implemented by central government. Many of the provisions were not implemented also, means like the Sarkaria Commission did not only talk about the office of the governor, it has talked about widely the center-state relation. So it has discussed about all different parameters that are associated with the center-state relations. They have discussed about role of the governor, they have discussed about financial relations, administrative relations. They have discussed about various things where the center and state has relations. Apart from this, the Punchi Commission also came, okay. The Punchi Commission on Center-State Relations, it has laid down its report in 2007, and it was headed by a former Chief Justice of India, Justice M.M. Punchi. Okay, Justice M.M. Punchi was a former Chief Justice of India, and it was constituted to inquire into the center-state relations, taking into account the changes in the last years since Sarkaria Commission submitted its report in 1988. Though the Punchi Commission affirmed most of the recommendation of the Sarkaria Commission, its views also reflected the changing times and its need, okay. So Punchi Commission was constituted to look back into the report of the Sarkaria Commission and also to see like how many provisions are implemented that are related with the Sarkaria Commission. So it has approved most of the things of the, means like it said, like most of the things that were said by the Sarkaria Commission was good. Many of them are implemented. It still means like it has flagged one opinion that the requirement of the changing time and situation, okay. So lot of things has happened related to this. In your free time, what you can do, you can go through this article to understand in detail about like how the things have been unfolding since then. But the recent discontent means I already discussed the post of the governor. If I talk about like office of the governor, it has been contested. Not only contested, means like it has been criticized also on various parameters, because many a times what the governor does, the governor takes part in active politics by being vocal about some of the provisions that are being implemented by the state government, or some of the provisions that are being implemented by the central government. Sometimes the governor takes the view of the central government that similar things must be implemented in the state also. That is not liked by the state governments. So there has been a widespread discontent related to the office of the governor, because many a times the office of the governor, governor does not follow due process. It exercises discretionary power. It sometimes implements it recommends for the implementation of the president's rule, which is many a times biased opinion of the governor. So this thing has been contested, and the Supreme Court of India has been giving judgments from time to time on this particular issue, okay. Yeah, So recently, many states, I mean like there are many states in India that faces similar issues, okay. So it is an ongoing thing that has been developing over the years. Some changes are being brought about also, but like we are yet to see how, you know, this is going to change, how this I mean like the discontent is going to be addressed over the years, okay. So that's all for the day. Thank you so much everyone for attending the session. I hope you have a good day ahead. Thank you. Yeah.